for everyone that doesn't know, my uncle is Tom Baker. So he was one of the great bowlers in the 80s, 90s, such a great guy, inspirational. He was just amazing. I would go and watch him bowl on the PBA tour. My parents would take me to go see him when it was close. I watched him and I'm like, that's what I want to do. Like, I don't really see myself as a 9-to-5 person. I'm a hard worker and I want to bowl. Like, I want this opportunity to travel the world, to travel and experience all these different things. But from then I started bowling and I was physically really talented at it. And I started bowling all youth events since I was 13. I would never bowl in handicap. I would only bowl scratch at 13 years old. And every time I wanted to get better. I'm a competitive person and I wanted to be the best. And so from then on, I started bowling for Sweet Home High School in 7th grade at 13 and made the team. From that point, broke a bunch of New York State records. I don't know if they're still holding true, but at that point, I really fell in love with the game. I mean, I fell in love with it when I was 6 years old when I started, and it only really escalated from there. And then I got recruited to go to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. I got one of the biggest scholarships that a player could get to go to the university. I didn't have to have a bunch of college debt, which was awesome.
Baker will look to match that now for Nebraska. And she does.
I think they've both found their favorite lane right now.
They're all tied up at 2 for the national championship.
Oh,
Baker right on the head pin.
Big trip of the 4-pin there. That looks like a couple marks. Needing to mark out. Nebraska has to stay clean here.
Working on 2 strikes. Clinches it for the Huskers. For the 2nd year in a row, they win the national championship.
I had a great career at Nebraska, and from that point on, it leads up to, in 2003, the fold. It was definitely hard because I went to college from 2004 and graduated in 2008. And that's when they kind of started the PBA Women's Series, and I was a part of that. And that was, a really cool experience, but I believe that only went on for 1 year. So at that point, we really didn't have anything else to fall on. We are part of the lost generation, but I was grateful for the relaunch for the PWBA tour when it actually came back, because we weren't too old, I guess you could say, to not be competitive and be out here on this tour. I know we lost a few super competitive years. I wonder how many titles I would have having that extra time and being younger. But, I like to keep myself fit and, mentally strong, and I'm always trying and striving to be better. I'm just fortunate that we're back here today. Being able to pursue my dreams and win titles is incredible. And, I'm just fortunate to be here today, and I love living in the present moment. There was no question ever are you going to bowl full time? Are you going to do this? It was, I'm in. This is the moment I've been waiting for. This is what I've been preparing for. I think what you don't prepare yourself for is the moments that you're inserted in, those TV moments, those competition moments where you really didn't have the time to develop or train from the gap from college to the relaunch. I think that it's very important to have those experiences to help you, move forward. Some people have, moments that I experienced on TV where they were terrible. They did not show my true ability. They did not show my true talent. And then there's some people that come out and they're completely fine. I applaud them for that. I just wasn't really prepared for everything that, needed to come tenfold, basically, to be prepared for those moments. And it really wasn't nervousness. It wasn't fear. It wasn't any of those things. It was just literally being on TV, being in that moment. And every time got easier. At that point, it's like, that's what I'm striving for. Like, that's where I want to be. Like, I want to be on those shows. I could take all the heartache and the painfulness and the embarrassment from all the other shows. And not all the shows were bad. I thought that my show I think it was during the COVID part when we had the bubble, as they call it, and they got to hold the tournaments at ITRC, which I was extremely grateful for. And I bowled an amazing match. I didn't miss the pocket, and unfortunately I just 7-10 one frame.
What a terrible break.
I think I lost by like 8 or 9. That was like really, really heartbreaking, because I feel like that was definitely a show that I really succeeded on. And I'm like, okay, you know, we can do this. A year later, I got asked to go to France, and we did like this mini Southern France tour with my friend Matt McNeil. We bowled on TV there, and we bowled matches. Like I made the women's match, and I made the regular, because the women can bowl with the men match. And I won on TV, and I was like, okay, like, you know what? Like, this is going to be my stepping stone for like the next time that I make a TV show. And then last year at the first event in Stockton, Emil's like, you know, what's your goal for this year? And I was like, I'm bowling for me. I'm not putting any added pressure on myself. I'm not, you know, looking too far out into the future. Like this year, I'm bowling for me. I'm going to make this time away from my family, you know, worth it. And I ended up making the show, and I won the first match against Daria.
And there it is in a split second.
And then I lost because I 7-10'd again. I think that's an issue. Then the next week, which was the second week, I finished 13th, and I think I missed by 5. And then I go into Queens, and you know, I was seeing the lanes differently from what the lane pattern was giving us. Hank flew in. I was like, I need your advice. I mean, I never really thought about it until after it happened, to be honest, because I really was just trying to stay present, because I feel like if I would have thought about winning a major at that time, at the time of the event, I would have been just kind of like in my own head. So I thought that maybe it would be better if I just took every day one match at a time, one shot at a time.
This position tonight.
She told us she's having fun for the first time in a long time. Left lane. All right. Works extensively with a sports psychologist. Big shot, third frame. Lots of cover. Yes! Gets it done. What a shot.
Another good shot. Pounds the pocket.
You bet. Watch this one. Gets it. She's one on tour. Congratulations, Lindsay, a champion at last on the PWBA tour.
To have the validation of all those, you know, defeating moments on Bowl TV or on national television, I mean, to have the outcome to win a major just validated everything for me. Like, I don't feel like, oh, you know, she's a really good player, but, you know, she hasn't won, and, you know, who knows if she's good enough to win. Like, people used to say that stuff to me, comment stuff about it. You know, she just can't get it done. I mean, it was heartbreaking. And, you know, social media can be cruel, but it was the most amazing feeling. And I feel like, you know, having Aiden and him, like, actually seeing me win Queens brought absolute tears to my eyes. And that picture was in the Bowler's Journal for the edition that I was on the cover. So, I mean, my goals and my dreams actually happened like tenfold, and I got to do another goal, which was to be on the cover of Bowler's Journal at some point in my life. So that was really cool, because I kind of killed 2 birds with 1 stone and got a major. So I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. Like, this is awesome. Bill Chrisman unfortunately passed away last November. He was my biggest fan. Like, he was, I mean, and he was everyone's biggest fan, but I had this personal relationship with him. And, you know, I would go in and see him, and he's like, oh, you're practicing again. And he sent me the most amazing message after I won. And he's like, you know, you really proved everyone wrong. Like, it's pretty, you know, you're a pretty special lady. It's incredible that you can be a great mom, a great wife, and prove to the world of how great of a competitor you are. And I still have that message saved, and I will keep reading it over and over again for the end of time. It's so surreal coming back here and seeing my face on the banner when you walk in the door, if you know me, is slightly uncomfortable because I don't really brag about myself. At times I thought maybe like, should I just like hang it up? Like, you know, just cut the cords. I couldn't let myself do that because even winning one title was the last thing on my bucket list to do. And I swear if I would have quit, I would have never, ever let myself live that down. And I probably, when I passed away, would be rolling around in my grave because of just the type of person I am. Like, that's just not acceptable to me. So I worked harder. I got better, I got smarter. Obviously, I'd like a few more titles after my career's over. Like, what are they gonna say about me? Like, I hope that they say, you know, she was a great person and she was enjoyable to be around and she was a shot maker. She lived to make those shots and to be consistent and to be competitive always, every week, in and out, on any pattern. She was there. To me, it's just more about enjoying the moment, having fun, working hard, and, you know, basically being me, which, you know, I hope that this interview shows everyone a different side of me from just competing out on the lanes. I think this is the time where, you know, you'll really get to see all these amazing women flourish. I think it's awesome every year, the new women that come out on tour. I am totally for women supporting women. I think that this is how we're going to make the tour thrive. I'm looking forward to see what the future holds.